Welcome to 2021's edition of Headphones Hi-Fi Reviews. My name is Trev. I'm also known as Take an Idea. I write on headfi.org and I'm one of the Team Subjective members. Links can be found in my profile. Today we're going to be looking at the CCA C12 and we're going to do a live unboxing, which I do from time to time, which is not without its nerve-wracking experiences in terms of fumbling open and not knowing quite which to connect to what, but we'll get through it somehow. I'll be plugging that into one of the most famous digital audio players on the market, the AK380 shown behind me. The rather unobtrusive looking box is the CCA C12, which is still in its wrapping, as you can see, and I'll also be comparing it to the headphones just to the side of it, the CCA C10 Pro and the CCA C10 Normal. And if any of you have been following me, you will know that I will prefer the CCA Normal to the Pro version, although both have their little bits of magic about them. So without any further ado, okay, I think we've all got the fact that this is just about to be opened. I've started making an incision here, so very cheap and cheerful looking boxing, isn't it? This is a trademark of CCA, really. They really are a no frills Chinese manufacturer, but they pride themselves, I suppose, on quality over quantity, really. Let's see if I can get this apart. This slides open. Oh, I think you can see that. Some nice shiny looking IEM monitors there. And we can lift them up this way. I thought for a second we had a carry case, but no such joy. Let's have a look at the cable. People should be looking for QDC cable connections in their in-ear monitors. They're a 2-pin connection, which is a really good connection, but these are a really strong connection. And as you can see, I can't bend the pins inside because of the plastic coating around them. And a tiny load of tips. Let's have a look at, see what the tips look like. Just fairly standard silicone affair. Yes, at first glance these look like a fairly standard sort of silicone affair, but they've just got some little incisions, very similar to the CCA C10 normal ones, but these tips are just a little bit subtler. So that'll give you some extra grip, I think, into your ears. Just a tiny extra bit of expansion there in the way that they're concertinaed. Anyway, let's have a look and see what these C10s are made of. Which way out do they come? They come out this way, don't they? There's one. What's your initial impression? So what we've got is we've got the shiny stainless steel brushed aluminium look outer, which of course will get hot or cold as the weather is, but hopefully the bit that fits in your ear, being resin like, should stay nice and cool. Let's plug them in, and I don't know if you can see, but that says R there. There we go. And in that one goes. Let's have a look at the cable. No chin slider, but that's because it's hands-free, so it's got the mic version. So as you can see, I bought the blue versions of these. Cable looks very similar to the CCA C10 normal. Is it thicker or is it just my imagination? Do you know, I think that's exactly the same cable. Other than, of course, this is the old version which has the old 2-pin connection. Much easier to take in and out those are, but these will obviously last a lot longer. It's not immediately apparent which shell goes in which ear. So the first thing I do is I put them upright and see where the nozzle and tip are facing downwards rather than upwards, and hopefully then we can see that it's right. We know that with the cable that we have to get the logo side facing the driver shell. So we'll just try and fit that as professionally as we can. And I'll put that into my ear, and sure enough, yes, that's fine. The logo has to face the shell and it should slide in without any resistance, or minimal resistance anyway. And I'll put that in. I'll come back to you in 5 minutes, having had a listening session with them. A brief look at the various cables and connections. CCA 10 Pro currently with the CCA C12 standard QDC cable. The CCA C12 temporarily with the balanced custom cable from Better Audio that I bought. That's going into the AKG 380 balanced connection port. Then we have the standard CCA C10 2-pin cable, USB-C to 3.5mm, which will run the DAC chip in the smartphone that I have, the Xiaomi Mi 3 5G. The 5 minutes are up. It's time to give you a summary of my findings. The C12 seen here with some Better Audio US custom balanced cable gave me the best results. I still like the balanced warm sound of the C10 standard. The bass of the C10 Pro takes some beating, but it does bleed into the mids, and the highs are a little bit too much ringing for me. The C12 gives me a equal slam with the bass, but it doesn't bleed into the mids, which have been pushed but not to the point where they're distorting. The highs equally have been pulled back just enough to give me plenty of detail and excitement without that overly harsh sound. There is still some harshness, but we're only comparing these with the likes of a $200 earphone when we say that. The harshness is almost non-existent, and I'm really being ultra picky here when I say that. The crispness, the linearity of the bass, the texture of the mids really takes some beating. It combines some of the warmer aspects and the lesser bass penetration of the C10 standard with some of the more exciting mids and highs of the C10 Pro. So it's a great match of the two, and the ringing distortion, the tiny element of maybe overexcitable highs is tamed somewhat by the balance cable in the AKG K380, which is a slightly more detailed digital to analog player, you can imagine, than the smartphone here, which has much less detail in it, so is benefiting from this cheaper cable, as comes standard with the C12s. So I would say get yourself a nice balanced custom cable for the DAP if you have that connection and you have an energetic sort of forward detailed sound. If you have a less detailed sort of bassier sound, particularly that which is the standard Android sort of tuning, then yeah, the cheap cable will do you fine. In summary, C10 Pro, lots of bass, possibly too much bass for some, excitable highs, energetic mids. The C10, warmer sound, less bass impact. C12s combine the two very well, and it can be tamed with either a better quality cable in a better quality digital audio player, or the standard cable and plugged into a smartphone. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the CCAs the same as I have been.